you recently had a kid, and before this, I knew you to be super ambitious in everything you're doing. And anyone I've talked to before getting married, having a kid, it's always, there's nothing that could stop me. I'm hitting this goal, nothing could get in my way. And then some people stay like that after. Some people get married, some people have a kid, and after they're like, oh, that I was delusional, that was stupid, that was worthless. I just care about my wife and my kids now. How have you been navigating that?
So I think for me, it's like a weird thing. I get up in the morning and like I think about my business. I go to sleep, I think about my business, and you need to learn how to like chill it out and actually be more like there. And it's something I did learn even beforehand because I've been so involved in like any time I had or anything I've done, it was always like doing and working and being busy. So now it's learning how to schedule my time much, much better, where I never imagined how hands-on it is to have a kid, and you always need to be like taking care of them and just being around, and not even for your kid, for your wife. But then because of that, so I have now this amount of time to work. When you work so much more than you've done before, because it's narrowed down to this is your time. You have to get done. You have to do whatever you have to do, and you just do. And it's kind of magical because you feel you lose time, but you gain productivity. I feel like it's like you just do.
Your time is better quality? What do you mean?
More focused.
There's more focus in that time of like, okay, this is all I have now to work in the next 2-3 hours. I'm just gonna sit down and just like focus, and then you could do whatever you want, and then again and again and again.
That, yeah.
How has it affected your goals and what you want?
It made my goals. I think it's like you have more things to care about, more like, okay, now it has to work. Like I can't fail. If I fail, it means I fail for my wife, I fail for my kid, I fail for my family, right? I can't fail. It's like you have to push so much more than before. That's what I feel. Maybe other people feel differently. Personally, I think it's been a blessing, kind of having a kid.
But doesn't the definition of failure kind of change? Where now, well, what were your goals before any of this?
Before any of this, it doesn't change your goals to, okay, I want something totally different. It's just you want to do whatever you're doing and still do so much more in other areas. It's like, oh, suddenly you start enjoying actually sitting down with your kid and like putting them to sleep or showers. My wife does that most of the time when she's amazing. So many times I'm out performing in the evening and she does that. But
do you feel guilty about that?
Not guilt. I kind of knew we knew that's
that
gonna happen, right? But you find other ways and other areas to be more helpful and more of a better husband. And it's a weird. I'll say this: it takes time. It took me time to figure out what and how is the right thing. Also with marriage, before marriage you're one thing. After marriage, it's like, oh, this is marriage. Now you have to do other things, and it's like it's adjusting. One book that I read years ago as a kid, it was, I think, Who Moved My Cheese, which is basically, I think it's called Who Moved My Cheese, whatever, but it's basically...
Sounds cool.
Very cool. No, but
without the recommendation, I would never read that.
You're right. It's a very short book, and it teaches you how to adjust to changes, and the faster you adjust to changes, the better your life will be. Because you'll have changes all the time. The faster you adjust and you learn how to write new things, new AI, new softwares out there. The faster you adjust, the more you're ahead of the game. So I feel it's the same thing in your personal life, in your work life, and all of those. That's what I think.
Also, I didn't know that DJ wasn't... DJ, are you artistic? Are you a good drawer?
I could be.
Man, dude. I'm sorry. I sold you short there. Oh. It's
That's
good.
amazing.
It's pretty nice, no?
It is.
So
I'm thinking about that because right now I love the way my life is going with the goals that I have, I get to look back and say, this is the same goal I had a year ago, and I made progress towards it. And I'm scared that if I add another thing and then my goals change, and then in that moment, I'm like, oh, but this is so much more important. No, this is so much more important. Wow, this is even more important.
Right.
And then you end up
But nothing.
45 and like, oh, that whole time I was just living based on, they said I should get married, then they said I should have a kid, and now I have nothing.
Right,
I mean,
but
you have a
I
kid in a
think-
marriage.
Well, you have a kid in a marriage.
But
think
you
the
haven't done what
secret
your
is
goals
where
were.
the secret is to be constantly doing, and you just find the things that stick, the things that work, the things that you actually like. I used to do real estate in the past. I went to get a business degree.
Did you get it?
I did. I went to.
Nice.
I studied for 3 years, but COVID hit. I started posting things online. Things went viral. Then I got requests for like, could you perform in our Zoom meeting, Zoom thing, whatever. It was always a high. Like I performed forever, but it wasn't my main thing. And COVID completely changed everything. And now I perform full time. That's what I do. I travel, perform. And it changed my
Interesting how
life.
like an in-person doing mentalism, which is like the shows are in person, happened over COVID. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it was like so crazy that time. But things you never expect change things, and you end up doing things that are so. I'm enjoying my life so much more than waking up and going to I don't know, deal with projects and things I've done before. I enjoyed that. I still enjoy that. I try investing and doing things, but it's not that kind of became my hobby rather than this, which I love and make people happy. I perform, get people to feel for a moment they're back to like believing there's wonder in the world and like, oh, I'm a kid again. I'm just watching something and I'm amazed. That's I've done my job. You know, it's like I'm so happy doing that. So it's
Are there moments
changes.
when you walk into a room and everyone's against you from the start? They want you to fail, or they're just like,
Yes.
they're bored. Why did they get this guy? I didn't want a mentalist here. I wanted something serious.
Yeah, so it happens many times with people that have no idea what I do or those type of things. That's why it's let's put it this way. Sometimes I walk into audiences where they believe they're just like, there's no way he's gonna get us, right? So I do a corporate event for lawyers. Again, they're like,
You got to
okay,
move their cheese.
we're like, there's no way no one's gonna read my mind, right? Or it's impossible. And then you slowly throughout the show, you build this thing where it's like, oh my God, he good. So could he do this? I don't believe it unless it happens to me. And then you have this guy standing up and just saying, oh, what am I thinking of? And you have to do something with him. It's a whole fun back and forth. But by the end of the show, they feel they leave the room with a completely different experience that they thought they'll come in, and that's if that's what happened, I succeeded because they had a great time, they enjoyed, they didn't think it's gonna be as entertaining, and I still got them. And with hecklers, like people that try doing like messing you up and all of that, so they say once you perform for an Israeli crowd, there's no crowd in the world you can't beat.
Huh.
They're the hardest audience in the world because they question, they try figuring out. They're not just enjoying. You know, you got
They
to
say that
different
for
places.
comedians also.
Yeah,
Like the
it's like-
Jewish audiences, religious Jewish audiences are the
So
toughest.
tough, but it's the best reward. Meaning the crowd that's the hardest, that's the crowd that if you manage to actually entertain, you get the most back as an entertainer. You feel, oh yes, it was amazing. We got them.
But why would you put yourself in a situation where you need to prove yourself? Like a singer, they go to sing, they know it's going to be this person they like. They don't need to prove that they sing well.
First of all, they bring me in. They bring me in, and one person in the company says, okay, I'm gonna make sure we bring him in because I've seen him in a different event and it was amazing or whatever. That's when I actually, like, the rest of the crowd doesn't know you. So you're brought in by one person, but then the rest of the crowd doesn't know you, and that's an audience that had no idea. They don't know you unless unless you have in the audience people that already know you from social media or whatever, then they're like, oh yeah, he's coming, and they pump the rest of the people up. It definitely helps.
At this point, you have the confidence when you're walking on stage. You know, maybe I bombed this time. Maybe I was scared this time and it worked out perfectly. So you can get up there with the worst scenario and probably be pretty confident, calm about it. But if someone was walking up and they'd never done it before, or even you when you first started, what is that feeling like? And how did you get through it? Because if that was me, I'd be up there and just freeze. I'd be like, I'm out.
Right.
I'm not doing this. It's not for me.
So
Game over.
so in the beginning, like years ago, my first show was when I was about 11 or something like that. And I remember the way I built my show was the first few minutes, like 3-4 minutes, I didn't speak a word. It was all visual. It was like very visual rather than doing and reading people's mind, because I was so nervous of like talking
getting
and
nervous
saying
just
and doing
thinking
things
about it.
wrong. And you're a kid, so I did like a birthday party here and a family gathering here and just things.
What does that look
whatever.
like to be visual for the first few minutes? What are you doing there?
So I used to involve. So the way I got into what I do is I got into it naturally. Happened to think that's how you do magic. Got into the magic world because of it. And only a few years into magic, I was told, oh, you could do mentalism. Why don't you pivot and do proper mentalism? And that's where I started reading a lot more of like all of these little elements of like body language and psychology and patterns and things like that. And by doing that, I already had the tools of magic. So when performing as a kid, I had a lot more magic involved in what I used to do, like in my shows, which I don't have anymore in my shows so much. Once in a while, I'll combine like a magic thing. But so it used to be like a routine with like a handkerchief and a bowl and different things. Just like it's very visual. Like you see something, it disappears, and it was like very, I would say more of a theatrical type of thing with music, and then move into like, okay, now I'm ready. The crowd knows a little bit who I am. I felt safe. But yeah, so that's how I did it then. I still get nervous nowadays when I perform. It depends on the audience, depends on the crowd, because you always know you could mess up. There's always that risk. So, but once you step on stage, and because you've done it so many times, you're just like, okay, I'm in the moment, and you just and it happens, you know.
It's so paralyzing. It's and there's nothing else you could think about when you have that feeling of, what if I mess up? What are they going to say? What's going to happen if I do this? What about that?
For sure.
And
I feel the
room
only way to practice it is by doing it. It's like, if you want to get better at performing or speaking, public speaking or podcast or whatever, you just have to do it. Mr. Beast says, if you, like, no one's going to see your first 100 videos. Just post them. Just post. But those videos are the ones that you practice and makes you like ready for that 101 video that might go viral. It's like you practice. You have 10 views, 100 views, and that's where you do it. You know, you do whatever it is. You just do it 100 times, and the 101, that's what's gonna go viral.
People say the internet is scary, but it seems like a much easier place to start for any performer, because you're not really getting, how bad can it be? Someone makes a comment.
Yeah, you're controlling your content. You're controlling what you put out there. In general, in content, it's like so many people are scared of content. Like, oh, I'm gonna put my face on camera, on social media. I'm gonna start. It's just like, no one's gonna see it. I promise you. And if they do, it's great
Then
for
you
your
won.
business.
Yeah.
I feel like they don't understand it. I think that's really where it's coming from. That they don't understand. They think that, oh, if this goes viral, they're all gonna know where I live. They're all gonna know this or that. So they have a fear of the unknown.
Yeah, no one knows. I still feel that as much as people know me, they don't really know me. Like they know me because they see me. They know my content. They know my face. They know how I sound, but they don't know my personal like life, right? It's like
Do you want them to know your personal life? Is there anything that
not
you think
necessarily
you want them to
like
know?
meaning I don't have a problem with it, but I'm not that type of content creator. My content serves what I do. It's not about me going viral to get famous. So it's like it doesn't. I'm not. If it would be to become famous, it would be like me just doing random things. And there's so many things you could do that would go viral that are not what I do. And it's still and I don't know. So not really.
Is it intentional that they know what they know, or you would rather them know more about you?
I feel that when I share more about myself, many times I'll have much more interaction in the comments or on my stories, when it's rather than just something like, oh, this is what I'm doing, right? Rather than, okay, so I had this really, I don't know, I had this thought and I feel this about it, and this is what I'm doing. Makes people feel they care about what you feel and think about that rather than that, because they don't care about that.
There's a lot more connection.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a combination of both.
Without getting into too much detail, what would you describe yourself as? If someone said, just who's Michael Samen? What do you say?
Michael Samen is a mentalist, an entertainer. I would say a content creator. Oh, as a person, I would say I'm a.
It's like a ChatGPT.
Like
yeah. It's like, what would you say?
There's no chance of them.
I feel there's like lots of pressure. Like
there's no chance of them buying anything from you, watching anything from you, and they're just like, so who are you? Someone from an African tribe is asking you this right now.
I would say the same thing that you were, like, the same train of thought that you had of like, he's this, he's that, he also is this, he's also that.
Right,
it's like a ChatGPT answer. Like, who is Michael Samen? Born in 19.
So who am I? Yeah. Not ChatGPT version. I think first a husband, a father, a person that wants to do good in the world, make people happy, make people definitely change their mindset, and maybe even become a little bit less phone addicted and do real things, because it's real connection, real people we're talking about. And yeah, I would love to change that. I would love to make the world better.
What is that? If you could go further into it, what's the difference in that mindset? And what are you seeing that makes you feel like it's a problem?
I think the problem is that a lot of the accomplishments I feel that I had was because I didn't have a phone as a kid. I think growing up without a phone, or watching movies as a kid, like I only had that a little bit later, like in my teens or whatever. Like, you grow up, but I think that my parents really, really cared about our skills and things like that. So you mentioned before, I play piano, I play saxophone, I play the drums. I do all of those type of things, and I do what I do because I had lots of time where I spent reading, I spent practicing and doing things. And I think kids nowadays with phones, and I'm terrified of it, like, how do you raise a kid without your phone? How do you do it? How, like, they see you, it impacts your family, it impacts your kids, and you use it for work, no matter what's the reason in it. And it's true, you need your phone, you're working with your phone, you post on social media, but how do you get your kids to actually do things that aren't phones and aren't social media? I think it's just filling up their time with things that are like, I don't know, like classes. Like, I've done martial arts for many years. I'm a certified martial arts teacher, and I've done martial arts for about 12 years. I would never in my life start doing martial arts if I would have had a phone at that age. It's just like, you start and you enjoy it and you do it, because real things are so much more fun than just watching someone else enjoying life. And that's like a real thing. I'm trying to figure out the balance and what to do and how to do. I already know I'm screwing things up, but we're up for the journey,
It's so sad that once you're past like 15 years old, or once you're out of your parents' house, no one can tell you to do those things where you're like, thank you so much for forcing me to do that. That was a great idea.
Yeah, 100%. And you see kids today just dancing in front of their phones, which is great. But how about just going to dance class and doing it there, not on the phone? It's a different type of thing. I don't know. It's
When you were younger and you didn't have a phone, would you have said the same thing that you just said right now? Or would you be like,
I think so.
I wish I had a phone.
I was very nerdy in the part where I cared about so many things and took my time and studied them, but at the same time I was the coolest kid, being able to play and
all these instruments,
karate
Beat them up.
and fighting and things like that. Meaning, it's nerdy as a persona of just like, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna read and I'm gonna study and I'm gonna do. But at the same time, you're so cool because you could do things. And people nowadays, I don't know, many people can't really do things, right? It's like
a lot of nerds become the coolest adults. Honestly,
it's
because
like,
I feel like at some age, being a nerd kind of expires. And there are a lot of like successful nerds, and like they're like collecting Super Bowl rings, and they're collecting like these. They get really eccentric. Is that the word? Eccentric? I don't know if you pronounce it.
Eccentric?
Yeah.
Eccentric.
That's a word.
It is a real word, but they get really interesting. Like there's this dude that I know who is very successful, nerdiest guy. He's like an adult. I don't think anybody knows who I'm talking about. And he collects all these like Olympic medals and things like that, and nobody would think about doing that if you weren't like
it starts at a certain age, and then you keep going with it,
Yeah.
And like when was the last time any of you just sat on a bus or sat maybe on the subway? It's a bit different because there's no internet,
Wi-Fi.
no Wi-Fi, but you just sit down and look around and just have your mind just go and think about, oh, this could be such a good invention, idea, business idea, concept, whatever. We don't do that anymore because we're always busy thinking.
It's always solving something.
Yeah. So it's, I feel I was very strict with myself with no having phones in the bedroom and things like that, just because you end up, no matter how much you don't want to be on your phone, you're going to end up on your phone if it's just there. We're used to it. It's part of what we just pick up the phone. So it's like having certain times and certain moments you could just, like the best ideas you have in the shower when you don't have your phone and you're just like, just suddenly have an idea, right? I don't know. Those are the times.
I don't know. For me, in the shower, I'm just like focused on just getting out of the shower. It's just like, let's get this done quick.
And I don't think about anything. I'm starting to. Nah, I'm joking. But I don't know. Yeah, less phones, doing more, I think, is the key.
I'm getting more addicted to my phone for sure.
Yeah, me too.
I'm on that thing all day at this point. It's my laptop.
The videos in the beginning being like, how much watch time do you?
Those could do well, I think. We are formatting them in the totally wrong way. With a better hook, I think it's still a good concept.
What would be a good hook?
Are you
Something
addicted
about,
to your
like,
phone?
what are you doing on your phone right now? Something that has more potential to be exposing, like what's on your For You page. Open up your For You page.
Or like you meet two people, like, is she addicted to her phone? Yes or no? And then you have to say at the same time. Yes, no.
Or something like, you'll open your
the phone.
phone.
You grabbing for your phone makes me almost want to grab for my phone.
Right. And that's
It's like, oh, I'm allowed to go to it now. Finally, I get to do
I get permission.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's like mirroring.
Definitely mirroring.
You use that for mentalism, mirroring?
Use mirroring a lot for business, for mentalism in general, getting people to do something. You just need to get them into before mirroring, you need to get them into the right, I would say, feeling, friend feeling, and then you do your mirroring move. Just because.
Is that like inauthentic? Is that manipulation? Because I've
it
seen,
is. People pay me to be manipulated.
No, but I'm saying in business, because I've seen that as like playbook mirroring. I'm like, I've been in conversations with people. I put my hand on the table and they literally do the same thing. And I'm not even doing it on purpose, but because I read that one book,
it's a good sign. They like you.
Because I read that one book, now I'm like, oh, that's cool. I've got them to
No,
mirror me.
but by the way, so for example, when you do business, right, and you want someone to be a bit more open, you want their body language to be open when you do the sale, for example, so you could get them to do that. So for example, if this is here and you are crossing your hands, just for example,
I do that sometimes.
and then I'll say I'll mirror you. One thing is also to mirror them to feel like the same and to feel comfortable. By the way, that's one of the things that I do. People ask me, "Are you bald?" It's one of the problems with a hat, is because when you do have a hat, people don't know if you're bald, if you're not bald. So one
Now
of the
we got the hair reveal.
Yes, the hair reveal. There you go.
luscious curls.
But once I spoke to a friend of mine, he told me when you perform on stage, you don't want the distance from the audience, because the more the more different you look, the less connection you'll have with the audience. So in the beginning, at some point, just raise your hat. So one of my lines is like, I look at someone, I say, look at me, think of whatever it is. Oh, I know what you're thinking. He's probably bald. So it comes off as a joke, and then I do this. So now people see my hair, people know
You're
I'm
just
not
like them.
bald, and I'm more like them. So you're a little bit more like likable.
What about the people that
whatever.
are bald? Then
No,
then
but
they're
then they know they're bald. Oh,
Okay,
he's
fine.
just like me. You know, nothing against bald people, but I'm saying so. For example, when you're with your hands closed, I'm mirroring you, and then like you could have a good conversation, a joke or whatever, and then I'm gonna say, oh, by the way, could you? So I'm gonna put something further out there, or like, could you hand me the marker for a second? Right, and then I'm gonna do that, and when they come back, I'm gonna be mirroring you. I'm gonna be in the position I want them to mirror me after unwinding their position, right? So they're coming back to the position they see. Like not even conscious about it, but they just go there naturally.
I don't even know
So
what to do
it's
with my hands right now.
I know.
Well, now you're over here.
No, and then they're open. That's where you try going for the oh, by the way, okay, so sales, talking, whatever it is, but you're going for the for that. So yes,
If that's
mirroring is
true.
great.
Then with all the ads, how much can you actually relate to the people in the ads if they're all these supermodels? And does that mean something about us that we see ourselves as being the same as them? Because otherwise, or
dang
is it
DJ.
super aspirational? Where we're saying, I wish I was.
There's
like
so many things like that. In general, certain stores would have mirrors that make you feel and look skinnier, for example. And
Really?
you're buying something.
And
yeah.
lighting also.
You look, there's perfect lighting. The mirror is tilted a certain way to make you look a little bit taller or whatever. And it makes you
Yeah.
buy it. And then you get home and it's like,
Huh.
I'll wear it once, but I would never wear it again, you know, because it just, so yeah. So I think, I don't know if that's why I feel that nowadays people are sick of too edited and too unreal content. Like I can't watch videos of AI anymore. Like I see a video that feels AI, I keep scrolling. It just feels too fake.
It's like sugar.
I keep going. And that's why I think specifically now, by the way, YouTube does not pay videos that are made by AI, right? Because you could produce an unlimited amount of content, and they know that people would create more and more and more content for YouTube in order to get more views. And YouTube isn't looking for people to create unreal content because they know that what would keep people on the platform is real people.
Is it that, or is it just a copyright thing?
I don't think it's a copyright because your AI, they're the generators, they could generate crazy things that are completely new. Like,
But they're all getting sued for being derivative of real artists' work.
Corporate companies,
Right,
a lot of
so
corporate
I don't-
companies
I don't
can't
know
use AI.
exactly.
Not because it's not good, because they don't want to get sued.
right, but then YouTube would say, oh, don't post anything at all. Like, don't post anything
Instead of
that's AI.
just
Rather
not
just
monetizing it.
that's what I think. I don't know, but I think that the platforms want real people on them. And you see also on TikTok, for example, when you post a video on TikTok, if you actually just these videos that you talk to the camera, many times they do so much better than the videos that are highly produced because it's real and people feel real, and that's what people are looking for.
100%. This was awesome.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much
Mike.
for
Very
having
real
me.
person.
You're the best.